Well, staggering new figures reveal the extent of the damage to the world's biggest economy by the coronavirus shutdown. In just 1 week, another 6.6 million people filed for unemployment benefits. Well, that means nearly 17 million Americans have lost their jobs in the past 3 weeks. That's around 1 in 10 workers. For more on this, let's turn to our White House correspondent, Kimberly Halkett. She's live for us from Washington, D.C. Kimberly, how much of a shiver are these numbers sending down the spine of the economy there?
Well, they were expected, but still the numbers are staggering. Never before in U.S. history has there been such a significant job loss in such a short amount of time. The numbers are simply astounding because, as you point out, we've had 3 consecutive weeks now of massive job losses. In just 3 weeks, more than 17 million Americans have lost their jobs. And what we're told is the numbers are actually much higher, Sammy, but the states can't keep up with the number of claims. In other words, people can't get through on the phone to even file the claims. So we expect when all is said and done that more than 46 million Americans are going to file for unemployment. It hits across all sectors, whether it's office workers, whether it's hospitality industry, even the healthcare industry, because while the United States pivots and prioritizes dealing with COVID-19, many other areas like, for example, elective surgeries or other specialties, even like dental work, is all being put to the side. So many of these healthcare workers are also finding themselves having to file these claims. And again, the number is truly historic in terms of modern history.
At the same time, the Trump administration taking some flack for the depleting stocks of the National Strategic Reserve. Tell us why.
Yeah, this has been an ongoing criticism that not only is there sort of a lack of awareness of what's available, but that it's not getting to who needs it in terms of personal protective equipment, things like surgical masks, gloves, the gowns that these frontline first responder healthcare workers need to deal with coronavirus. And so the new concern is this national stockpile, the strategic national stockpile as it's known. Essentially what we're being told is that 90% of the stockpile has been dispersed, and they're not going to give any more because they're keeping 10% for the federal government in its response. So where is it going? It's going to state and local governments. Now, this is a criticism that has Democrats on Capitol Hill particularly unhappy. They're pointing to the Trump administration, saying you're in charge of the federal response, and what you've left these states and local governments to do now is to essentially get into bidding wars, scouring the open market. In fact, we've seen even on social media, frontline workers taking pictures of themselves wearing garbage bags in place of these protective gowns that normally they would use. Now, the Trump administration is defending its response, saying it's the fault of the states. They should have been better prepared. But I can tell you, it's not just in terms of shortages in the United States, it's not exclusive to just personal protective equipment. In fact, ordinary Americans are finding when they go to the grocery stores, things they count on like toilet paper or even canned goods are also scarce or hard to find, even not at all. So this is an issue that is ongoing. And as I pointed out again already, there is this finger pointing towards the Trump administration. So far, it is deflecting blame.
All right, it's a clearly difficult situation there, and the latest unemployment numbers only add to that. What is the Federal Reserve planning to do about it?
Well, the Federal Reserve is a body that is a monetary body in terms of interest rates and the rest. But in terms of the response with regard to personal protective equipment, this is something that is an ongoing crisis. Now, if you watch the briefings in the White House briefing room, they will tell you that everything's great. It's under control. We've never seen something like this before, and we're doing the best we can. But I can tell you, we've seen some unusual characters popping in to take control of this situation. For example, the president's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, who obviously has no expertise when it comes to dispatching equipment in emergency situations. His real estate background certainly certainly does not make him especially equipped for handling this crisis. And yet that's one of the people that the president now has overseeing this. And in fact, he did have a bit of a slip up this week in terms of even understanding the basics of how the strategic reserve works. And as a result, there's been a lot of criticism that this is an administration that simply doesn't know what it's doing. And it is evident in terms of the lack of materials that are out in the states and local governments now.
All right, Kimberly Halkett there. Thanks for that.